18 years ago, in the spring of 2007, a seemingly ordinary family vacation forever changed the lives of millions. On the night of May 3rd, the McCann family parents Kate and Jerry and their 3 young children were staying at a holiday resort in Praia da Luz, Portugal. Madeleine, just 3 years old, was asleep alongside her younger siblings in a rental apartment, while her parents dined with friends at a nearby tapas restaurant. The adults took turns checking on their children every so often. Sightings of young girls thought to be Madeleine poured in from all over the world, but every lead ultimately led to disappointment. Operation Grange, as it was called, reinvigorated public interest and led to some promising new threads. A series of individuals were investigated, including, most notably, a German national named Christian Barskaner. At about 10 p.m., Kate McCann returned to the apartment to find Madeleine missing. Her bed was empty, the window was open, and the bedroom shutter was raised, including sexual assault of children. In 2020, German prosecutors identified him as the prime suspect, stating they believed Madeleine was dead. But as of 2025, no charges have been filed against him in connection with her disappearance. Jane Tanner, who reported seeing a man carrying a young girl in pajamas a few minutes before Kate noticed Madeleine was missing. In some years, the case received fresh funding. Witnesses came forward. Locals expressed sympathy for the McCanns, but also a shared desire for closure or resolution. However painful or miraculous it might be, closure, for some, would mean finding Madeleine's remains. For others, it means finally learning what truly happened that night. Or suspects were questioned. Kate and Jerry McCann endured years of public suspicion, media intrusion, and court battles, unmistakably marked by the agony of not knowing their child's fate. Over the years, they successfully cleared their names in court after a former Portuguese police chief implied they faked the abduction, winning a high-profile libel case. Police say the case remains open and actively investigated not just in Portugal, but also by British authorities. But until someone is found or a confession is obtained, whether from a suspect or a witness, Madeleine's disappearance remains, heartbreakingly, unsolved. Who received additional funding to continue their inquiries into 2025. Operation Grange. The UK police effort has not been closed. The McCann family continues to hope, stating on the 18th anniversary that their determination to discover what happened to Madeleine is as strong as ever. Police have not made an arrest directly linking anyone to Madeleine's disappearance, and officially, the case is still unresolved. And the United Kingdom carried out new searches, this time focusing on locations near the cottage previously occupied by Barskaner in southern Portugal. The McCanns have stated time and again their determination to leave no stone unturned, always reaffirming their belief that their daughter could still be found alive. Despite days of careful excavation and the collection of several items, investigators did not announce any definitive breakthroughs. Madeleine's story lingers as one of the most haunting and widely publicized missing person cases in the world. The search for answers by police, her family, and a watching public goes on. The renewed search was prompted by new information provided by German authorities. But what exactly was found or what prompted the search remains closely guarded by investigators. The investigation was plagued by missteps and miscommunications. The apartment was not properly secured, and key evidence was potentially lost. Rumors swirled, including stories of a possible burglary gone wrong, a targeted abduction, or even accidental death. The Portuguese police eventually focused their attention on Kate and Jerry McCann themselves, officially naming them as suspects. This news shocked and outraged many, but forensic evidence cited as grounds for suspicion was eventually deemed inconclusive, and their suspect status was lifted in July 2008. However, this sighting was later explained by another tourist who was carrying his own daughter. Panic set in immediately. Kate rushed back to the others, and within minutes, a wave of panic swept over the group. Calls to local police were made, neighbors and holidaymakers joined the desperate search, but there was no trace of the little girl. The story of Madeleine McCann quickly became international news. Images of her wide-eyed 3-year-old face, often dressed in pink, were broadcast around the world. Over the following days, police interviewed resort staff, guests, and conducted door-to-door searches. Portuguese police initially treated it as a missing persons case, but within days, the investigation shifted to a possible abduction. One of the most significant leads early on came from a friend of the McCanns. As the weeks dragged on, frustration mounted. Over the years, the case became the subject of countless documentaries, books, podcast episodes, and endless newspaper headlines. In 2011, the British government, at the urging of the McCanns, ordered Scotland Yard to review the investigation. Skinner had lived in the area of Praia da Luz around the time of Madeleine's disappearance and had a history of criminal offenses. In the spring and summer of 2025, police in Portugal, Germany, throughout all these years, there have been 3 recurring theories: a stranger abduction by an opportunist or organized network, an accidental death covered up, with attention at one time focused on the parents, then dropped, Madeleine awakening during a burglary, then something going tragically wrong. Yet, for the McCann family and for millions who have followed the case, every passing year is marked by hope and heartbreak. There have been moments of hope. On anniversaries of Madeleine's disappearance, the world's media returns to Praia da Luz. The emotional legacy of the case is profound. Technological advances, international cooperation, and persistent detective work have kept the investigation alive. As of July 2025, the answer remains the same: the case is still open. In the absence of a clear resolution,